Today I'm gonna walk you through the process I use to make high hydration breads, like this 100% hydration sourdough bread. High hydration breads are very popular because the crumb is very open and airy. That makes the bread extra soft while keeping a very crunchy crust, the perfect combination to any good bread. My first recommendation is to start an autolyzed process for at least 30 minutes, combining 490 grams or 2 cups of water in a mixing bowl with 500 grams or 3 cups plus 2 tablespoons of bread flour. I recommend you to use a high protein flour. The one I am using is from the brand King Arthur and it has 12.7% of protein content. Using the autolyzed process is important when working with high hydration doughs. By gently mixing the flour and water, followed by a 30-minute rest period, you will see an improved extensibility on the dough. Cover the dough with a plastic lid or a plastic wrap and wait for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, add 100 grams or a third of a cup of ripe sourdough starter. Use a dough scraper to incorporate the sourdough in the dough. Look at how elastic this dough looks after the autolyzed process. That's why it is so important to not skip it. Cover the dough again for 30 minutes and let the dough rest. Now add 10 grams or 2 teaspoons of salt. I like to use Himalayan salt that I have mixed previously with 10 grams or 2 teaspoons of water. Use the same method with the dough scraper for about 2 minutes or until the salt incorporates well with the dough, and cover with a lid or a plastic wrap and let the dough rest another 15 minutes. Start a series of stretches and folds. We do stretches and folds to add tension to the dough, since it is a very wet dough. The key here is to look at your dough and know when to stop. I usually do 3 to 4 stretches and folds, and sometimes I even let the dough rest for longer periods of time in between stretches and folds. But that is something that you have to decide as you see your dough progress. Here you can see that my dough has even grown a little already. So I give it a last stretch and fold. I cover it again and I let it rest for another 15 minutes. Then I place it on a smaller container that it is gonna help me to shape my dough easier later. Here I perform some coil folds by lifting the dough from the middle point of the dough with both hands at least 4 times. Then I cover the dough with a plastic lid or a plastic wrap and wait 30 minutes. At this point I perform the last coil fold and I am covering the dough with plastic wrap to place it in the fridge for about 12 to 24 hours. The cold fermentation will help your dough develop a better flavor. It will continue proofing the dough and it will make easier the shaping of your high hydration dough. The next morning, you can tell that my dough continued growing even during the cold proofing process. So sprinkle some flour on top of the dough and on the surface of the working table where you will be placing the dough. Carefully turn around the container and let the dough drop on the table. Remove the container and sprinkle enough flour on the dough. The flour will prevent the scraper from sticking to the dough. Very carefully cut the dough in 4 equal pieces with a flour scraper. Add as much flour as needed on all the sides of the dough so that they don't stick to the working table or your scraper. Transfer the dough with the help of 2 dough scrapers to parchment paper sheets that have been previously cut to the size of the dough. Place the dough on a pizza peel. Place the dough in a preheated oven with a pizza steel like this one or a pizza stone at 450 degrees Fahrenheit or 230 degrees Celsius. And add some ice to the base of the oven to create some steam and make the crust of the bread very crispy. Bake for 10 minutes and then reduce the temperature to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius for about 20 more minutes or until the bread is golden brown. As soon as you remove the bread from the oven, place it on a cooling rack for at least 1 hour or until the bread has completely cooled down. This bread has a very crunchy crust and a very airy and open crumb that is extra soft. I know you're gonna love this bread, and I hope you get to try this recipe. Hey, thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please click on the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I have a new video every week. And don't forget to check out my website.